Well, let's kind of throw it to we've got into Alexander pretty deep in like the overall idea behind some of these targets in the offseason, but a guy we haven't actually brought up specifically too much yet is Deiber Caicedo and that addition in the offseason. And I guess the way I want to open it up is something I've been thinking about a little bit. And I think something that's being a little bit undervalued or that, people forget about is at times last year, David Milinkovic was one of the Whitecaps' best players, and he's now drifting in obscurity on the open market. I guess I'll kind of get us to evaluate Caicedo in this way. Do you think that he can come in as a youngster, adapting to a new market, a new climate, all that kind of stuff, and have a as good or greater impact than Devi did at times last year?
I mean, if his FIFA rating is anything to go off by, which is what the Caps were going, like horning on the entire time.
That sweet potential rating, right?
Oh yeah, 86 or something. I don't know what it was, but I mean, if he can match, I feel like he has the ability to match at least the Home's output. Like the Home seemed like a solid signing, not as exciting. He seemed more exciting than Milinkovic, but Milinkovic performed better at the beginning. But I'd say Caicedo feels more exciting than even both of them combined. But we'll have to see.
Well, you joke about the sweet potential rating, but I feel like if you can get a player who's similar, if you can replace a player with a player who's similar but younger, then I think you have to do it because the younger player can still improve. At Caicedo and Milinkovic stats wise are about like on a par, but Milinkovic is 26 and Caicedo is 21, so he can still improve and grow. So maybe next year that upgrade is not as clear, but I think like 2 to 3 years from now the difference will be quite stark.
Well, and also he has the benefit of learning from his countrymen, right? Like Dahomey kind of blazed that path already. And yeah, it took him time to settle in, but by the end of last season, he was, not that this is saying much, maybe our most dangerous player, setting aside our dearly departed Freddie Montero. And, I think on the left-hand side, having someone who can link up with Ali Adnan and hit forward, especially if the Caps are going to do this kind of weird semi-counter-attacking style of football, like that's important. And I think that it seems like Caicedo can really fit into that role well.
Yeah, I wonder if when it came to Milinkovic, it almost was more there was an idea as to what that offense was supposed to look like when it was going up to the field. And if Caicedo is similar or at least closer to what Dahomey can do on the opposite wing, it will give a lot more symmetry to the team as opposed to Milinkovic for all of the talent that he had. If he's not doing the same thing on the opposite wing, it from like a defender's perspective, you can see that the opposite team will be attacking one corner of the field just because they know that that is the side that they're going to put the ball in front of the player to run onto, whereas Milinkovic will probably, want to have it at his feet. So if the ball's on his side of the field, you can adjust your defense accordingly. And if Dos Santos, if his whole plan is to keep things symmetrical, well, anybody who's got the ball in the middle, if it's going to be Alexandra, when he's distributing, he's got options. He can go to either corner, and it makes a defender that much more wary as to what to expect. So, for me, it just comes down to whether or not they want to achieve that level of symmetry on the attack and not just be, rely on one side of the field to do one thing and the other side of the field to do the other.
I think the idea of symmetry is a really important point because you've seen that they've not only done that, I think at the wing position, it went from, our favorite sons, Las Bangura and Lucas Venuto, just being these out and out 1v1 machines to then kind of dabbling with the inverted winger. And I almost feel like David Milinkovic was too inverted. He wanted to be a midfielder. He always wanted to cut inside. now with Dahomey and Caicedo, you kind of have this balance. They're willing to work defensively. They're willing to take on guys one-on-one. They're also willing to cut in. And then you go kind of to the back wide side of the field, and you've added Bruno Gaspar. And I think, Ian, your point kind of holds the exact same way there. It's no good to have Ali Adnan if every team in MLS knows you're hoofing it down the left-hand side of the field and trying to get it to him. You need someone on the opposite wide area defensively that can provide something, albeit not entirely the same, but he has attacking prowess, more of kind of a passer, crosser into the box, but that I feel like the balance holds there. So I'm interested to hear what people think about the Gaspar signing and how that provides a different complexion, not only to the Whitecaps defensively, but also kind of, moving forward creatively, especially without a number 10.
Well, I think if you look at some of Gaspar's sort of ball progression stats, I mean, he's not a DP number 10, obviously, but no one is at this point. You can see he does move the ball up the field quite effectively. And, as we discussed at the start, like that's been a problem. And I think, it's going to be kind of an interesting balance if you have those two fullbacks pressing up super high. You're going to want to not get caught on the counterattack, which they did a lot last season, which is kind of a crazy thing to say about a team that's supposedly like a not very aggressive like defensive team, and yet they're getting hit on the counterattack. Like in the bad parts of the season, they were getting destroyed on those counters. So they're going to have to kind of be careful to not have that happen again. Hopefully, I don't know if that's Bikel taking on a more prominent role or some other tactical adjustment, but that's going to be something to watch out for, I think.
In all honesty, I'm biased against Gaspar, but that's only because I know he was on that Olympiacos side that knocked Arsenal out of the Europa League last year when they scored that goal in extra time. So, I mean, I fully admit I'm biased. I'm optimistic for him, but, I mean, he's got to earn my love a little bit.
Prayers out to any Arsenal fans out there. That's a tough one.
Oh yeah, I mean, this will be quick. It was a necessary signing. It's like a sign that people are clamoring for. Get somebody to cover for Jake. Get somebody to cover for Jake. Because I think Jake's like it's solid, like sub on in like the 70th minute sort of player. But you need somebody to be on there for him to get subbed on to, right? But like I think this covers it. Like, yeah, cool, we got it. But like really what we need. I think it's going to be a very positive signing, but like, I mean, we got to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, I don't have a ton substantively. I think that was a good summation of my thoughts. But I mean, I would say like until you get the DP number 10 in, every little bit helps. And no offense to Nowinski, who I think the fan base unfairly tax at times, given you gotta know what you're getting with him. But the crossing was particularly brutal, and I think getting back to the idea of balance, it's no good having Dahomey on the right-hand side and not having the link-up play that you get on the left. And you put it well, like other teams can plan on that. And I think also, I believe he has, am I making this up? No, I'm attributing Jabane Brown facts to Bruno Gaspar. It's been a long day, but anyway, I do think that it will be, exciting to see someone. It was funny about this signing because everyone for a long time has wanted someone other than Jake Nowinski right back, and then the Caps signed someone, and they're like, but not him. It's just like, okay, well, what are we doing here?
It was like everyone was asking for it, but when it happened, everyone was kind of like, really? A right back? Are you sure?
How could you do that to Jake?
The thirst for a number 10 is like so prominent that I think just there was this initial reaction that like anything other than a number 10 was unacceptable.
Well, the thirst for number 10 is definitely a major factor, but also like when we did our team takeover, we learned that everyone hates the Whitecaps as a collective, but everybody loves the Whitecaps as individuals. Like even guys,
it's so perplexing. I'm still struggling with it.
You people don't know what you want. Like even guys who we were like, look, we know they had a rough season, but we believe there's more to come. It was like, oh yeah, 80%, keep him. So, there's a bit of dissonance there.
I think the biggest thing with this offseason is that we're doing the signings backwards. We're building up to that number 10 when we should have signed number 10 first, and every other signing would have been amazing. Like, think about it. You follow up number 10 with Alexandra, then with the right back that we all want, and then with depth pieces at the right back and a depth striker on top of that. That'd be amazing.